Around the Reel with your hosts, Aaron Carlson, Charles Lawson, and Steve Eaton. Boy, ain't no way, man.
Added a layer of donuts to your headphones, Steve.
I'm going for the Princess Leia look. I don't know if I quite got it right.
That's actually really sexy. I'm digging it, Steve.
Yeah,
That's what my
I just
wife
figured
was
he was
saying.
overcompensating, wanting to be bigger than us, but it's okay.
That's
Sure.
accurate.
I get it. No, you look good, Steve. You ready to go?
Sure.
Yeah, this is season 5.
But my question is, Steve, are you as brave as Carrie Fisher? Will you wear that white dress with nothing on underneath?
How much are you paying me? That's the real
As
question.
much as George paid Carrie for the first Star Wars, so that was like what, $12?
Yeah, probably.
Are you serious?
$12.
Oh, my
$12
God.
is $12.
That's crazy.
No, they didn't make shit on that movie. That's right. Yeah, but I mean, it worked out.
Yeah,
But-
it kind of worked out for him, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's all in the merchandise.
Right, and they signed away their likenesses for all the merch, and that's how Lucas built an empire.
How about that? Oh, by the way, here you go.
Oh, thank you. A little delayed, but it's all right. We're
It's
good.
live now.
It's live. Yeah, we're doing our season 5.
Welcome to season 5 of Around the I'm sorry, was that my cue?
So basically, this entire time we've always wanted to do a show where it's felt like radio, right? Where music's playing and we can fucking talk the way we wanted to do it, and you got these sound effects like Howard Stern used to bring the fucking, whatever it is. Yeah. Well, we're using StreamYard tonight to try this out to see if it works. So, yeah, that's right. Oh, so I'm actually hitting these buttons as we go, so it's going to be kind of fun to try. How about
I can't
that?
wait till he hits the
I
wrong
love it.
button.
I know. What button?
There's no wrong button. It's live.
I preloaded these, so I hope there's nothing scary in there. You know?
Well, one thing that we all know about Mr. Carlson is the fact that he's an expert at pushing fucking buttons.
Yeah, but I've only masturbated and recorded it like twice, so there's no way that's in here. You know what I mean?
I think it's impressive that we couldn't tell.
Yeah, right.
That's a good thing.
So when you get the is that the finish?
That is the finish.
Because you're all excited, and you
I'm
think
not
you're
so
gonna blow
happy
everywhere,
on
and
it.
next thing you just like.
All right, so season 5, guys. Here we are in Around the Reel. Finally, it's really nice to
5.
be here. I'm so happy about it all, and we've got Steve with us. Right?
We do.
Steve Eaton
Mr. Eaton.
joining us as a co-host on the episodes of Around the Reel for season 5.
I am just tickled pink, guys. Thank you for having me.
studio audience is excited for you.
Hell yeah!
I heard it.
Yeah, see, you can hear it now, so it's engaging, right?
It's real. Yeah.
It's real.
It's around the reel.
Almost there.
Yeah.
All right. We got a great
Steve,
guest
you were
with
talking,
us.
I interrupted. I'm a dick. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Why don't? Yeah, Steve. Do you have anything?
That
you
was fucking it, guys. I was just saying thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for
Though.
joining us
I'll
down
tell
Around
you
the
many times you need to hear it. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, why don't we talk about our guest that's showing up here? So we've got a great filmmaker with us tonight. Yeah, and this guy hustles, and he's a good dude. And I think that one thing I know all of us appreciate are people who are like legit in this
For real.
industry trying to make it right. And I think that's vital. And that's how we connected with him a while back. He's been on the show before. And Chuck, would you like to introduce our guest tonight?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us down Around the Reel. Come check out our guest. He is a writer, a producer, a director. That's just too many fucking things to say. He's a filmmaker. That's what we came up with, one word to say it all. He's a filmmaker. He's an independent filmmaker, and he's a musician. But we're going to talk about film, unless he wants to talk about music. Well, he's going to
Then
be
we'll
our
talk
guest
about
today, so we're
music.
going to talk about whatever the hell he wants to talk about. But the important thing is we're going to bring in Chris Shern.
Chris
Ladies and
Shern.
gentlemen, filmmaker, musician, wonderful human being, and one hell of a guy to talk to.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Chris.
Welcome, Chris Shern.
I wasn't anticipating him being in that corner on the screen. It threw me off.
I thought you were surprised because he was black. I guess you're used to that, Chuck, right?
I'm not. I don't get surprised anymore.
Fair enough. Chris, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. Just trying to live the dream, I guess.
Yeah, that dream, that filmmaking dream. How about that? Yeah, it's good. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience, and we'll get started on speaking with you about some stuff, bro.
Well, my name is Chris Shern. I am a filmmaker. You know, I make movies. I dabble in horror movies. That's my bag, and I just want to be creative and make stuff. And I also am a musician. I play in a band called Invisible Cartoons, and you know, I'm a father and a husband, and I exist.
Yay!
Very nice.
I'm a carbon form being.
Yeah, Chris, it's been quite a journey for all of us doing this kind of thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I remember meeting you back in the day when you were working on Evil Lurks. Yeah, and you were busting your butt in that one. And
What do you say back in the day? Listen.
Yeah.
We're
Like
on the
2
fifth
years
season
ago.
of Around the Reel. He was on here for Evil Lurks. How far
Twice.
back was that? Do we remember?
Twice. Yeah, like he
Yeah,
was on
yeah.
like one episode later then too.
yeah,
And
he
Steve, who actually listens to our show, can keep us on track.
was. Yes.
It's been a couple of years since I first got on, and then I got on talking more about my band and stuff like that. So
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's
yeah,
right.
we talked
Yeah.
about music stuff too. We wanted to focus on that because you got a hell of a band, man. You put in a lot of energy in that too. Like you don't fuck around.
yeah, man. Yeah, we're working on an album. So my goal is to have the album out around the same time I put the movie out.
Oh, that's
Oh, cool.
Well, there's nothing easier than releasing two things at the same time.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, we've been working on the album for 4 years, so time's up. Yeah.
Well, see, that's the trick though, right? Because today I was sitting down and I was thinking about all the stuff that we have kind of penned out, or we're putting together, or pre-production in, or we know where we're going with, or something is halfway done. And I'm like, holy shit, we got all this stuff going on.
Yeah, but things
For real.
want to hit. in 2020.
There's actually probably more, but
Yeah.
but they're not at that phase yet. You know what I mean? Where I'm gonna say for sure we're doing it, but the ones that I did list, I know that's what we're trying to do. You know,
They are
and
2025 feasible.
yes, they might. Now, would they be all be completed in 2025? Maybe not, but you know, if we get them all going, and I know at least half of those will be done by the end of 2025, and that's
Oh, yeah.
that's kind of the goal. But you know, a couple of them might be done before. At least one of them is going to be done before the end of the year, which is what I'm hoping for. But you know how it goes, Chris. You got to just keep
Yeah.
plugging away, man. You got to plug away. I think that's the most important thing, and that's what you've been doing. That's what I love about you. You don't fuck around, dude. You know, you don't. And that's what it takes. So you're working with Steve on this. Let's jump on that real quick. All right. So why don't you give us a little bit of background on your new film, the title of it, and tell us how the progress is going.
Cool. Well, so I have a new film that should be coming out in the spring of next year called Vic Effects. It's about a Foley artist. If people don't know what a Foley artist is, it's someone who creates sound effects. Aaron, are you going to cue and push a button? Do like something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A walking sound or like a breaking piece of celery. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Rehearse this, man.
No.
See, but yeah, so that's stuff that Erin's doing right now. So she do sound effects for independent horror movies.
Yeah.
And so she gets approached by a famous but infamous filmmaker named Milo Kemp, who he make low budget horror movies as a controversial. So he asked her if she can do sound effects for a film that he's working on, because unfortunately his previous Foley artist Thomas Raven passed away, and also Thomas Raven is Vic's idol, so she looks up to him, and because of what he's done in the past with his Foley work. So Milo gives her the job, and she started working on sound effects for this movie, and one thing leads to another, where a lot of things happen within the movie and it falls into her reality. So it's another mind fuckery, kind of trippy, crazy, chaotic movie. And on top of it, she creates sound effects for all these other movies that's within the movie that we shot short films for her to do sound effects for within the movie. So I call it a psychological horror documentary anthology.
I love it, dude. That's badass. That's fucking amazing.
So wait, so hang on. So for those who aren't keeping track at home because they forgot to grab their little slide rule, so you created how many shorts to put into a movie? What now? What?
So I made 5 short films.
Okay.
Within the actual film of her, creating sound effects.
Okay.
And so, but just to be clear, so these films these films are going to be seen in part throughout the movie.
Yeah, they're gonna be cut. They're pretty much, you're gonna see her making sound effects, and then it cut to the actual film in its full progress.
Wow.
So you'll see the process, and then you'll see what she created when it. So it'll cut back and forth. I'll do a couple of split screens, some overlay, and then it'll just jump back and forth with the movies.
Wow, dude. Okay, that's actually
That's
pretty
great.
creative, Chris. It really is. That's exceptional. How long have you been shooting, or how long did it take to shoot this?
So I started shooting around this time last year. I started shooting around September of last year. So I shot 16 days and 9 months because I have a job, and so I shot on the weekends. I financed this myself. So anytime I have money in my pocket, I'm like, hey, I got money this weekend, let's shoot something.
We know how that feels.
Yeah. So, I know.
Nothing but money and opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was fortunate to have people that was working with me. So they were pretty much a credit card, because they was like, all right, pay me when you can. Okay. And then finally, I paid off, some things, and I had some help with that as well. I'll talk about him, as we go forward with stuff. His name, Dan Michael Jederick. He's my producer now for Kissing Castle Productions. He's a great dude. Man. He followed me on IG, and he was just like, dude was like locked in. And then I said, hey, let's have a conversation. And we had a conversation, and he helped me out. He got me out of some financial situations at times. So.
Oh, that's awesome, buddy.
Those are good friends.
So,
yeah, you gotta have those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just keep hiding the bodies, but okay.
Yeah. Good, strong shovel. Yeah.
No, that's fantastic, dude. And let me ask you this as a filmmaker, because I know how my my level of patience sucks, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I want to, if we start something, I want to let's get it done, right? Yeah. So you took this long, and you had a decent amount of shoot days, which is fine. I mean, that's not unreasonable what you did, but to spread it out over those months, I mean, how do you handle that as a filmmaker? Are you good? Are you patient? Are you antsy all the time? Are you pissed off?
Or are you like Aaron?
Right.
Can we get back out in the field?
We'll just cut 6 people out of the movie and finish it tomorrow.
Right.
I want to get out there and get it done. I mean, that's what I want to do. I don't fuck around.
To be honest with you, man, when I broke it all down, I didn't realize it was 9 months and 16 shoots. I think it was just a matter of getting the days in and shooting. And then once I was shooting, because I was editing as I went. I never did that with Evil Lurks. Evil Lurks, we started in 2019, and we had the premiere in the theater in 2022, and then it finally streamed in 23. Right. So that's 4 years of putting that all in place. Mm-hmm. But this, I was editing as I went. Dude, I made the teaser trailer in November, and I shot in September. Then I made the official teaser in January. So something was there that was out there, And Aaron, I showed you the trailer. I think I showed you the trailer before anybody else, and the poster. I showed you the poster before I even started shooting.
Right.
So yeah, everything was just kind of built in. So it was always something happening. Yeah. Because when I was doing it, I was getting things in place, but I also was the prop maker. So while I'm waiting, I mean, it's not about talk about patience. I'm not sitting around waiting. I had to make the props now.
It's one of those things where it's 16 days, but you worked the entire night.
Yeah, I was the costume. Hey, guess what? Costume. Go to Temu, buy some shit cheap. Instead of spending $300 on a costume designer, buy this outfit for $20. Cut it up, make it look like it needs to look. Hot glue is my best friend. I use a lot of fucking hot glue.
Don't apply it on the actors.
They don't.
Don't apply it on the
Don't like
actors.
crazy glue on yourself when something happens, and then you
Sorry, Carl.
Right. No,
But no, I mean, I was the costume designer, so I had to design all the costumes, and I was doing all these things while I was waiting to go for the next shoot. So
okay.
I mean,
Right.
so there was always something happening.
Right. You utilized your time in between shoots to keep pushing the process
Right.
forward, basically.
Right.
Okay. No, I get it. And that's what you need to do. And that's what's cool. But see, I'm not a prop maker, and I don't do that kind of stuff. So I guess that's where I get frustrated with, like, I need fucking footage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need shit, because I want to edit shit. I want to get into sound design. I want to do all that, you know. And
He wants the puzzle pieces.
I want the puzzle pieces. Yeah.
Well, I mean, me making the prop. I mean, I'm not a prop designer. I just kind of just winged it, and I just had to do what I had to do, and that was part of my puzzle.
Yeah, but that's beautiful, though, right? That's what's cool about it, that you're able to do those things. Like, I couldn't do that. I know Steve can. I know Chuck can kind of wing some of that stuff too, but I don't have that skill set, if that makes sense, right? So you did a lot of this on your own for a while then, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fucking badass, dude. That is great. That's great. You should be proud of yourself, because that's
The shit he made was incredible. Like, you can see it, I'm sure, in the trailer.
Mhm.
But the stuff, like, I get an inside view because I got to put shit over the shit.
Yeah.
But it's there's some really fun creature work and just kind of craziness going on. It's a lot of
That's
fun.
awesome. Okay, so let's since Steve jumped in, why don't we talk about that a little bit? And let's check. You have something you want to add?
I would like to point out, just for anybody who's listening and is interested, I am not a costume maker. I made one fucking BDMA type thing out of chains for the hunt for me to wear as Voorhees. That doesn't mean I'm a costume designer. It only took me an hour to create this thing that went through my crotch. Not a good idea, by the way. If you ever decide to run chains through something, don't put it through your crotch.
Yeah.
But I'm not a costume. Don't hire me for costume shit.
Fair enough.
Okay,
I'm not putting you
I'm
in that
going
spot.
to do it.
No.
I am available for leather work though.
Yeah, but Chuck, you do have the brain for it, though. You see it, though, right? And you got it. You may not be able to get hands on and do it, but you always are in there. I see you all the time. But you also wanted to do that your entire life.
Right.
I know. So you're still in there.
Yep.
Okay, so Chris, you're working on Vic Effects. You start getting, this thing's moving forward, and then you reach out to Steve. So what's Steve doing for you on your film?
Well, Steve, I reached out to him because I saw his poster for The Hunt.
Yeah.
And then I love the kind of watercolor, how it's like dripping down and stuff like that. So I just messaged him, say, hey man, I really like your poster, and blah blah blah. And I pretty much was asking him about making me another poster, because I already had the other poster. And then as I was developing the characters, I was like, all right, now I can finally bring this poster out, because I'm making my own universe, so Vic Effects universe. So all the characters that you see in that poster is all the characters in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I play most of the killers and monsters because I like doing that shit.
And you're available. You can always be like,
And
I'm right here, so I'm just gonna put this shit on my head.
And if I'm making these costumes and shit, I'm gonna wear it because I gotta, it's there, whatever. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
So we created so I like the way he set up the stuff, what he did for The Hunt. So I was like, hey man, I'm looking for this vibe, and I was just kind of Steve put a lot of work into that poster, because it was just a lot. He kind of collaged everything and put it in place, and then it's not exactly what y'all poster was, but then I sent him the Avengers poster. He said, oh, you want something? And I said, yeah.
It was great. I can put it on the.
I want to do something that's more accessible. But then when they see the movie, they're like, oh man, this is one of them fucking weird ass art house films. that was my marketing plan. Get something that looks commercial, and then fuck them up with some weird ass movie about Foley artists.
There you go.
Using water bottles. But but he did a phenomenal job. And then I was watching y'all's series and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, man, who did you? I know Aaron do a little bit of the visual stuff, and he said, yeah, I did some stuff as well. And I was like, yo, this is dope. So we was talking back and forth and stuff like that, and then trying to figure it out. I had another guy helping me do visual effects, and then things didn't fall through as good as I would like it. So long story long, I kept talking with Steve, and then I was bringing him stuff, and then he gave me footage, and I was like, what the fuck, man, this is
right.
I know how to do VFX. I know how to do VFX stuff, but I'm not a VFX artist.
Right.
That master at everything, good, whatever the fuck the term is called, but like good at everything, master at none. So I'm like, I can do some VFX stuff, I can do some stuff here and there, but shipping it out to him and seeing what he did, I was like, all right, dude. And I didn't try to. I didn't want to overwhelm him, so we kind of jumping back and forth with things, and then like then we did the crowdfunding was doing well. I'm like, fuck it, man. Yo, man, I got some money for you, man. Some money. I can pay you better.
Wait,
So,
Chris,
I'd have done it anyway. You asked me.
I know, but I better now,
Chris,
man. So here, I'm like, yeah, take this shit. I don't want to do it because I got to score the film, and I still got to do the sound editing, and then I got to go do the sound mixing with my guy John Magniscus. He's gonna do the sound mixing at his studio. So, and because he got the 5.1 shit, and my goal is to put this. I'm gonna do my own screenings. If I gotta spend my own money, I'm doing my own four walls, because this is about, we're all in that same boat. And
I get it.
Sit your ass in a movie theater. I don't want you watching my movie on the phone, on a laptop. I want you to watch my movie in the theater, and then eventually you stream it on your 80-inch TV.
You can watch it on your iPhone Watch or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. But
Chris,
that's the game plan.
Okay.
Chris, did you ever hear Steve say these words to you? Just send me the footage, and I'm sure I'll figure it out.
Oh yeah.
The worst thing he ever says, because he's setting himself up
for failure. Yes.
Well, no, he doesn't fail, but he does.
he
He
does.
does take a lot of aspirin.
Yeah.
He does a lot of swearing at himself. It's
Yeah,
a lot of whipping. Like, have you ever seen the old priests who do sin? He does that a lot. He does a lot of his own flogging.
Chuck is not wrong about this fact, everyone. Plan your shit out and have it done correctly the first time, and then you won't have to figure it out afterwards.
Well, to be fair,
No, not you, Chris. I'm talking about me
yeah.
when I'm on set with these guys. I'm like,
these scenes would be VFX heavy. Everything else is practical effects. Like
Right.
I did.
Yeah.
We had pumps for the blood. We did all kinds of like old school shit to like make things work.
Yeah.
But when you're making Aliens 3 meets Predator, and then fucking a folk horror Harry Potter Lord of the Rings thing, you need all that crazy shit. Like we're doing a Frodo thing where I'm wearing a black suit, a green screen, and he's painting over me to create a creature.
That's fucking dope. Yeah, I can't wait to see this. That's fucking cool.
He said he could do it,
yeah.
so that's what I'm saying. He said I could do this. I'm gonna try something. And
I'll figure it out.
yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what do you, Aaron?
I know that tagline. That's Steve.
Yeah.
Like that would be your tagline on Steve's movie.
Yeah,
It'd be
it will be
Steve.
on my tombstone.
I'll
one
figure
day.
it out.
I'll figure it out. No, see,
on your tombstone will be he didn't figure it out.
Yeah. It didn't work this time.
No, dude. I know Steve's exceptional. We all do here. I mean, that was Jesus Christ, dude. The shit you come up with and do it's amazing, and it just it makes you just fall back in your chair. If you're an indie filmmaker and you've been doing your own visual effects to try to sell your stories, and then you run into you, who not only is a filmmaker himself but also this incredible artist, it's an amazing. You're just like, dude, I love you. That's how you feel. And then on top of that, you're like a nice guy. So it's like, holy shit, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah,
Like,
you
it's
can be
crazy.
good, cheap, and not a dick. If you can really try. It's really neat though. It's like in the modern world, the VFX have like made it to where, I mean, Chris could, you guys could, we could, you could make like a full blown disaster film and do a very good job of it. It's going to take a long fucking time, but it's just so cool that now the digital revolution made it to where you can do just about anything. So it's like really when you talk to people like Chris or us when we get rolling, it's so cool to be like, yeah, we could do it, and just know anything you could probably figure out. And when you're creative to begin with, like all of y'all are, it's amazing to just be like, how? That's really the only real question to figure out. How? And when you have great creativity behind it, you're like, it's gonna work. It may not look perfect, but it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree completely. Yeah, and it takes a lot of trust, right? Like how many times were we on set with you, Steve, and that conversation came up? Where it's like, I'm sitting there working with you, and I'm shooting something. I'm like, Steve, how do you want this done? Do you want this on sticks? And Steve's like, preferably, yeah, I would like on sticks, please.
Don't let the shit move.
You know what I mean?
Please don't move the camera. That'll make it a whole lot easier. But then invariably, you'll end up having, like, Chris has a couple of shots in Vic Effects, and then there's a bunch of it in our shit where you're just like, it'd be really cool if we put this thing in here, and you're like, but the camera's moving all over the place, and you have that wiggle that happens with digital cameras, and I'm trying to think of the name of it right now. But you're like, well, it's time to spend a whole lot of time making a shit ton of keyframes.
Yeah, and that happens though. But that's what I love about what we're doing, you guys, because when you've got like a team of people around you that have these skill sets, they can always figure it out. Like he said, there's always a way. And I don't think once when we were working together, Steve, on this last one, that we never thought we had to go back and reshoot anything. We just
I don't think we did once.
No.
Well, Steve never said it out loud.
You're talking about the cigar shot, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, but look how good you did that. So it's impressive. It's impressive. Okay, Chris. So when you were doing Vic Effects, and you had special effects you needed done, were you going to attempt to do those on your own? Did you think you had a chance to work with another visual effects artist?
Well, I knew my buddy Nick, who did all the Hall. If my movie Evil Lurks, there's like a main primary scene where the lead character, Amanda Winston, Kimberly, played by Amanda Winston, she was in a hallway section. So I shot all of that back here in my green screen section of my room, and then he composite everything. But it was controlled, and she's just kind of walking slow. Now, certain things that I was doing with Vic Effects, one scene that I have that I was working on, and Nick was working on, is chaotic, and it wouldn't have been as bad, but the creature suit, that was probably, unfortunately, that was not the best day. We got it done, but that probably was not the best day of shooting because the suit wasn't completely done. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna shoot from the side, we're not gonna shoot from the back, and all this stuff. So when I'm looking at the chaos and I'm moving around and camera gets moved to that side, I'm like, shit, I don't want people to see the zipper. I don't want people to see that. So there's some elements of that. I knew it was gonna be like some electric currents going into the bodies of the cyborg and the creature. I got to do a little bit more stuff, but I'm also adding atmosphere with smoke and haze and light flickering. What we did, how we shot it with lighting, we already used a flickering light in the scene in real time when we shot. Then I'm going to add layers to that, right, in post production, because I wanted some real stuff and then add practical and then add the effects. So with that scene, it's going to be a little bit more. If the suit was completely done, I don't think that scene would have been as bad, and I probably could have handled certain things. But the reality of it all is, I did most of the visual effects for Evil Lurks, and I'm happy about it. But at the end of the day, I want a visual effects guy. I'll edit, I'll sound edit, I'll help with the score. If color grading, it depends on my mood or what I'll do. And I know, Aaron, you're phenomenal.
Right.
You can do that. How you can do a color and stuff, and you do a phenomenal job with your stuff.
Thank you.
But when it comes to VFX, I don't want to fuck with it. I'd rather not do it and have somebody that knows how to do it. Right. So
He does a pretty good job of it, though. No bullshit.
In those 2 scenes, you know, I knew I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to do stuff here and there. And my guy, you know, things happen, and he worked on some things here and there, but that was just gonna be too much for him. Then when Steve came about, and then he was like, yeah, like boom, boom, boom. And then the stuff that he showed me so far, I'm like, everything he showed me was perfect. And I gave him a color grade and said, this is my color grade. I'm looking at it like, cool, I got the color grade. And then everything he's done so far, and he's come up with, and it's cool when you can tell somebody what's going on, but they can also bring something to the table. And everybody wants to bring something to the table, but he's bringing something to the table. I'm like, okay, we'll do that. Because yeah, but that's good, though, man. Because I want people to have freedom to, you know, give their, you know, their artists as well. I'm not just giving them a job. I like suggestions, but I also like suggestions where it makes sense. Where I'm like, okay,
yeah.
You know,
So you're not like Putin, is what you're saying, right?
No, I'm not a dictator. I mean, there's certain things I like. Like we was talking about, you know, there was some overlay stuff that I was doing, but I was like, we got to keep this because it flows into Vic as well in her vibe, because I'm cutting back and forth to Vic doing the sound effects and then the movie.
Okay, I get it.
You know, and then to cut fast forward, I'm gonna rehash all of these movies because I didn't fully edit these movies. They're edited in a way of how the movie is set up for this.
How it goes with the whole thing.
Because if I would have fully edited them the way it is, the movie would have been over 2 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
So with what Steve does, we're gonna add some stuff here and there where it'll be fucking cake for him to do it because he already did the majority of the job. And I'm working on a new project to flesh out all the movies, thus the Vic Effects universe, where you'll see the movies again in full form.
All right, no,
That's
fantastic. Awesome. Go ahead, man. I know you got something to say.
Oh no, I was just going to point out earlier. It's nice to have Steve working on the post part of everything when he comes up with all these brilliant ideas, because that way he doesn't hit somebody with a fucking branch on set.
I would like it to be noted it was only my idea to hit somebody with a branch, but I wasn't actually holding the branch.
Yeah, man, you got hit with me. Aaron, you got hit with a log, right?
I did. You know what I mean? I was no fucking joking. I didn't bitch about it at all. I didn't complain like Chuck's doing right now. You know what I mean?
That shit hurt me.
No, it was,
for real. I was doing a little bit of work to like try and goose that a little bit, like make it a little more interesting with some like random shit. And I'm like, dude got really hit with a log. Like there's nothing to do.
Yeah, how do you boost that?
Yeah.
And you know, and you did though. But you know what's funny? I talk a lot of shit, but yeah, Chuck was very nice to me.
He was,
but it still fucking hurt.
Man.
It still fucking hurt. It did, and it didn't hurt during. You know, when you're doing stuff like that, you're doing once that's the adrenaline's going. You don't feel shit, dude. I'm 51.
Yeah, right. The day after, you're like,
I mean, dude, no, it wasn't just the day after, Steve. That was like a week. I was like, why is my sternum all fucked? I can't even cough. You know, nothing would work. I was just like, Jesus Christ.
Well, that wasn't even the worst though. The worst was your fucking
my leg. It's still
your
fucking
ass
right?
after throwing the kick.
Yeah, I'm still throwing. Yeah, I'm throwing those kicks. So the fight scene is bullseye, and my leg still hurts. What, we filmed that 2 months ago or more?
Yeah,
something like that. For fuck's sakes, dude.
And the one time, normally I'm trying to talk him out of it. Being a nurse, like it's normally my thing to like stop people from getting hurt at every possibility. And then in the fucking woods with Chuck and the thing, I'm like, it's the one time he gets hurt bad enough to actually have to go to the urgent care. And the next day, I'm like sweating. I'm like, I'm a dumb son of a bitch. The one fucking time.
Yep.
But it was only bruised ribs and bruised kidneys. I'm fine.
Yeah. But we can't help it though, because we want to do that. We're still kids. We want to play.
And this people keep asking me at freaking work. Who does your stunt work? I'm like,
Yeah.
And that's
we
what's
do.
so
We don't. There's no stunt doubles.
No, and that's shitty. I look at these actors that we all have grown up with. You know, I see Stallone. You know, I see like even Norman Reedus. I was watching fucking Walking Dead season 11. I finished it finally, and it's fucking great. It's fucking great. It's so good. And you know, he's older than I am, and he's still doing his shit.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, okay, well, if you try to take care of yourself the best you can, you know, if you get injured, it's going to take longer to heal. And if you're okay with that, fucking go.
Yeah. Film is eternal. Pain is
Yeah.
temporary.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun.
Chicks dig scars.
Yeah, you know,
Or guys, whatever you're into. I don't even
Whatever
know
you're
what to say
into.
anymore.
Yeah.
yeah, whatever it is. Yeah.
Well, I have a scene. I have a scene in Vic Effects where I'm in the creature suit, and so it's a scene where she's like constantly punching me.
Yeah.
I told her, I'm like, check this out. Like, you don't need to punch me in the face or whatever, but like, I got padding right here. So hit me. Try to hit me as hard as you can because it's
Famous last word.
it's gonna look more offensive.
Right.
So me tightening up my shoulders, she just kept like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
And then I did a lot of speed because I was obsessed with Mad Max Fury Road.
Correct.
You know, I did speed ramp shit.
Yep.
I was speed ramping
Oh.
it in that kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve will see that scene and see how things are kind of moving around. So, but what I did was, so she was hitting me like real good, and then what I did with it, we talk about visual effects. I took some spark effects, and then I put it towards her knuckle. So while she's punching me, like these sparks are like coming out, but she was really hitting me. I mean, yeah, my shoulder was hurting at the end.
Like, I'm 44.
Yeah.
Or a little just tender. That's the word. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got. Sometimes you don't want to hurt anybody because that was a scene where we had to put up a rope harness thing. And she was like, we had to push her and made her and all that stuff. We don't have the finances for stunt, choreography.
Insurances and shit.
No, I totally get it. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the shit you guys was doing, we was intense, but that was some.
No, it's great though. But that's that.
It's all fun.
That's those little things you got to do. I mean, that speed amping up stuff is what I've always done. I think we've done that since Outrider. No, actually, we started that way before, Chuck.
Way before Outrider.
Yeah. We learned, but we were following other filmmakers that were out there, like Film Riot. They totally tell you that. Take out a couple frames before the punch hits.
Yeah.
And it gives it that little extra.
Well,
impact.
that's what we do. Like, filmmakers all paint in time, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I think it's really cool that like 300. I know it gets overused, but like when you talk about the kind of stuff you can do with the digital stuff nowadays, it's not like film where you're like, okay, I'm going to burn through a whole mag in 4 seconds.
Right.
But like nowadays you can do a whole movie slow mo and do whatever the hell you want with it.
Yeah,
and it's really cool what people are able to do now.
I know. It really is.
Yeah.
I love it. And that's why
there's no excuse to not make a movie. It's just
no,
there is.
Time to make it.
Right.
Anybody can make a damn movie.
If you didn't want to bad.
No, me making this movie 20 years ago when it had happened, it would have been a lot more money for me spending to try to do.
Yeah. But like I've seen you chatting a lot, like on your live stuff lately, and the video you put out for your crowdfunder, and you've touched base with the indie crowd, right? You've been paying attention to those out there that have done something, and you're utilizing the information that they're providing you to up your game, right? Is that what you've kind of been doing? And that's exactly what we've done. And we've built a team around that. But there were filmmakers out there when I was like hungry for information, and Chuck too, where we wanted to really find people who were doing the same thing that we wanted to do, and we just kind of started picking up on their cues. Like Jay Horton, for example, or there's a lot of filmmakers out there like him that have literally made a living at this indie filmmaking.
Yeah,
they've done it. So what that tells me is that it's possible, right? It's like Jay Horton is just, I used to work at Starbucks, and then I started directing movies, and then I saw the studio doing this, and I got hired on to direct a couple things, and I did those, and then I realized they were making a shit ton of money, so I decided to do it by myself. And he did it. So to me, that's badass, right? That's the kind of filmmaker you want to see. And he's making his own things and doing his own stuff and helping other people make theirs. And and that's what he does for a living. So I heard you comment on us, and I appreciated that. It was really nice, but we're not further along than you are, honestly. We're in the same boat. We're still following that same dream you are. My question, I guess, to you is what exactly made you realize that there are some filmmakers out there that are doing this thing and it's working, and then there's other filmmakers that don't. And I've made a point to this year to really ask some questions that matter, because I see a lot of filmmakers stuck in the same kind of fucking thing where they want to make this movie or this short film, and they go out and they do that film festival run and they do all that stuff, and and then that's over. It's over. And then I'm like, where's the shelf life on your work? Like, what are you doing and why are you doing it? And I want to have more of those filmmakers on here because I want to ask them that. But then I meet people like you who are actually doing this, and I know that like Evil Lurks went to distribution. You got that out there on platforms, and you don't seem like the type of filmmaker that just wants to make something, go to a film festival, get some laurels, take a couple pictures on the red carpet, and then, yay, I did it, and then start over. You seem like you have more ambition than that. Why?
Well, yeah, good question.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I mean, because like I like world building, and I think Evil Lurks is gonna be there. It's gonna be around, and I'm getting some, I'm getting some notoriety, in the underground, independent, whatever, with what I'm doing. It's actually gonna get screened. Somebody saw it, liked it. They wanted to screen it in LA in November, and I was like, do that. Evil Lurks was my business card. That was my learning experience. Because I've been through shit and great shit and shitty shit with that movie, and I'm like, I'm grateful for it because I met some really awesome people that's also in Vic Effects, that we built a relationship with. I like world building. Vic Effects is phase one of what I'm trying to create. I'm trying to create an atmosphere. I'm not just trying to make a movie. And I like that. I like when I like when, man, if you want to say I'm trying to franchise something or whatever, but I like world building and creating the atmosphere. And that's what I'm trying to do, with what I'm doing with this. I mean, I for the last 8 years, I studied and learned how to video edit and then just talk to people and ask questions on people that, I really thought they were doing some really awesome things. And I instilled that in what I'm trying to do sort of for the past 8 years. Because I've done sound design and stuff for like short films and stuff like that. And then finally I kind of figured out what makes sense for me. And I feel like I'm always going to be a DIY filmmaker. I'm not striving to be Hollywood. And yeah, I've corresponded with Jay Horton, and I've talked to, and I've looked at other filmmakers. There's also a filmmaker, John Adams from the Adams family that I talked about, and they're very, self-sufficient and do what they do. And they got their stuff on Shudder and Tubi exclusive, and they just kind of walk their own path. They're an anomaly. They know not everybody's doing the things that they're doing, but they put a lot of heart and soul into what they're doing. And I just want to kind of build a foundation with what I'm doing as a filmmaker, and then also people that I meet and talk to and find ways that we could collaborate. Because I'm only competing with myself. I'm not competing with anybody else. Like I don't need to try to compete with nobody.
No, it's like
a competition to me. I'm in the music business as well. So playing with bands, and then we play with a band, and then we play a show on the show, and then when a guy said, "Man, I gotta follow that up," I'm like, "What the fuck you following up? Like, fucking play your kid. We ain't battle up the band. Like we're playing, we're doing stuff." I'm 45 years old, man. I've been doing this for a while, like just creating. So it's like I just want to create, like to be simple about it. I just want to create something that's lasting. I don't know how long I got left on this earth, so I want to leave my legacy in that way of just making things. And there's no flashiness about me. I don't button up my shirt and got sunglasses on and say, "Hey, look at me." I'm a, And I think what works for Jay Horton, because he's a down to earth guy. The guy works his ass off. So
absolutely,
like, that's what that works. And I'm gonna tell you right now, people ain't going to see Jay Horton movie because of name actors. They're going to see it because of him. They like the work he put into it.
Absolutely.
So when I look at what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to build the brand of Chris Shern and Kissing Castles. So I'm just yeah, man. Like this is the first phase of these different things. I have these movies in my head.
Mm-hmm.
and they're all connected. Like Evil Lurch was that learning experience to say, hey, look, I made a movie. Vic Effects is there's a lot of shit going on with Vic Effects, and I told people, I said I got a 3-year plan with everything that I'm doing right now. My goal is to shoot 2 movies next year, just like you. Yeah. It's not gonna be done, but it be in production with 2 movies.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's great, man.
Yeah.
That's great. And what I like about
I hope that answers your question.
No, it does. It does.
Oh, you did, yeah.
Yeah, and it makes me happy because you've gone out on your own and you're making this shit now by yourself. This is your shit. You're in charge of this, right? Yeah. And that's dope. But you've got the mentality to appreciate good artists and good people to help bring that to life.
Yeah,
and that's dope. I think that's fucking great, dude. Good for you.
Can I ask you a quick question? So you said something last time. You were talking about one of the times you were on. Sorry, about Evil Lurch, or you were talking about a specific scene. And you were talking about dread. Do you kind of feel the same way about like kind of a thematic over your whole work? Like when you're making a piece of work, do you kind of have that one thought that you're kind of getting through the whole film, or do you kind of go scene by scene by scene, or
how about just a certain theme?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
like an emotional theme.
Mental health is a huge thing in my life, with people in my family. So I think I can relate to that a lot more than anything else. So a lot of that. And guess what? People want to have fun going to see a horror movie. They don't want to see fucked up shit and reality stuff. Because Evil Lurch is a metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't seen the movie, when you fully watch the movie, it's a metaphor. Because all these supernatural things was within all this reality horrible shit that was going on with the lead character, Kim.
Right. Yeah.
And Vic Effects plays a part in that as well. With things going on within her as she's creating these sounds. All these things within the movements within the movie, the movements within how she's making sound, the characters that's in the movie, they all relate to something that's going on with full name Victoria Paulette, Vic's character. So yeah, and the next couple of movies that I'm working on, I'm working on a movie about a guy going to see a cuddle therapist. And that's all. I'll leave it at that. That's another movie.
Wait, did you say a guy going to see a couples or a cuddle therapist?
Cuddle therapist, yeah.
Cuddle therapist.
A cuddle therapist. They have those?
Cannot wait. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
You cuddle with people?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clothing optional.
Yeah.
Here's the trick, though. I know, like, genuinely, like, it's easy to laugh at, but, like, you look at the epidemic of people, like, of people who genuinely do not get touched in their lives, and it makes a genuine change to their lives. Also said, I cannot wait to see you make a horror movie out of it. But it is a real thing that does help people.
It's a body. I call it a body horror drama.
Nice. Yeah.
Wow.
But
well, that's true. Everybody needs a hug. Even Steve, after the last day of us filming, he walked up to me and says, "That was some of the most amazing shit I've ever seen." And he just wraps his arms around me. I was like, "He's hugging me."
And I am not a hugger. Yeah, I was just like, motherfucker.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't go over to his house afterwards and cuddle a little bit.
I know. Yeah.
Clothing optional.
Call it therapy. It's okay.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Fuck, it's crazy. It's crazy. Okay, man. I love it, Chris. I love what you've been doing, dude. I really have. So you got a crowdfunder right now for Vic.
Indiegogo, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people had followed us on ours, and they're like, "Dude, you got so much money," and I'm like, "Jesus Christ, man!" You know what I mean? It's like, it's money, yeah, and it is amazing. Don't get me wrong. It does help, yeah. But at the same time, when you're out there and you're seeing other filmmakers, that have been doing this longer, right? Or they have ends that we don't know about, and they're putting on crowdfunders that are making, $200,000 or more. It's really hard to be like, God, that was successful, because we all, as creatives and who are taking that step to do this thing and try to find funding, that's what our dream is, right? I'm thinking before I started the crowd for the Horrorverse, I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna get $100,000, no problem. I knew this.
Look at what some of the other ones have got.
You know what I mean? Exactly. So it was a no-brainer in my head, right? I'm gonna follow the steps. I'm gonna do everything I fucking learned, and I'm gonna fucking do this. And then, you know, and then when you see the result, and you're like, fuck, I'm nowhere near. I'm $90,000 short. However, but when you hear everybody else around you saying how successful it was, you kind of start feeling like, am I being weird? Am I not humble enough? I'm not appreciating this enough? What is it? You know, and I changed my thought process on that, because no one knows who the fuck we are, right? No one gives a shit. We are just some guys up in Washington trying to make a fucking fan film, and we're lucky to get anybody to give a shit. That's how I should look at it, right? So when you look at it that way, that 10 grand is like $100,000 in my mind. And I can convince myself of that, but here's the problem. There's still a part of me that goes, why did others get more?
That's
How
the
did they-
competitive side.
That
of
is
it.
the
How
human
did
condition, my friend.
How did they do that? How did they do that? But see, if I don't ask myself that question, I won't keep finding out. I won't keep looking for that answer. So I know I discussed some stuff with you about the crowdfunder before Vic Effects, before you started it. And I gave you some pointers. And I knew you were going to get more than you were asking for. And you have. How do you feel right now?
Feel weird. It's weird. It feels good, but it's a lot of fucking work, man.
Yeah.
I can't take all the credit for it. Once again, I thank Dan Jederick for his hard work and pushing people. Here's the bottom line, man. I'm gonna break it down with Hollywood and independent filmmakers. Francis Ford Coppola had to spend his own money to make his newest film.
Mm-hmm.
You still need to find money to make your film. I don't care if it's us. I don't care if it's fucking Francis Ford Coppola or Tarantino or anybody else. You gotta get investors and people to make your film. I don't know all the ins and outs, but I've had conversations with people who tell me about the ins and outs about this and crowdfunds and stuff like that. It's awesome that you get what you get and people contribute and stuff like that. But it's an interesting game. Them perks, them thick ass perks. When you get those guys who's like, yo, I want to fuck with this, and they building up their resume because they want to be a producer and stuff like that. That's how that works.
Yeah.
Right.
That's how that works. If you're doing $2,000 perks and you do 3 of them joints on there, and 3 people buy that shit right off the bat,
Yeah.
That's common sense math right there when it comes to how this thing works. When you got people who want to get a DVD and a shout out and stuff like that, I mean, yeah, that's cool. When people just want to contribute, that's awesome. But them perks, when you get them thick ass perks, when you want to be in the movie, you want to do this and that, I mean, that's how this game works. And that's how, I mean, it's cool, but I'm happy about what's happening, and it's awesome. And I've sold some of those bigger perks, but I'm also corresponding with these people who got these perks. Actually, my new executive producer, Miguel Neal Jr. He's my marketing content creator. And he does all them little videos that I had to try to do while I'm trying to edit Vic. He's doing all that now. I give him stuff.
Nice.
All right. So I've been the last 40 days I've been just locked in with Instagram because it's only so much you can do with posts, and then with the way Facebook is, knocking your shit off one of my posts got off because I was
all a game.
Like, why the fuck you got the like emoji on there then? If I want to get likes, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
So I utilize stories a lot with because you can just do so many and then they go away and you hope somebody get it. So I utilize those things within what I'm doing with getting the word out and marketing. But I've got a couple of guys who got those thicker perks that I'm working with. I got a guy who's in the UK and he's going to film fest. He's going to horror cons. He got a Vic Effects shirt, and he got this thing on the back of the shirt that says ask me. And then in the shirt, it's like it says ask me what this is or whatever. And then he got Vic Effects. So somebody see him walking with the shirt, like, what is that? And then he's gonna show him what it is. And he bought a perk.
Lift that up.
So my thing is, I'm corresponding with these guys. I'm not just like, all right, cool, I got some money. You got your IND credit, good for you. But you know, how I got the money is I had people who talked to the right people to boost it up, and then everything else was like get a DVD or get a poster and all these things. So that's how that worked. I mean, I was killing the first 4 days, and the last 3 days it's been kind of. And guess what? It is what it is, man. You know, if I get another certain amount, then after that I'm good. Whatever happens moving forward. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I put my own money into this shit. I'm still, regardless of what happens, I'm still gonna get shit done.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why, you know, this is awesome. I think as you keep building, you can do well with yourself.
Oh yeah.
Through crowdfunds and then talking with investors and find ways to get feedback and stuff like that. You know?
I totally agree. You can supplement it all one way or another.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of filmmakers understand the amount of work that goes into crowdfunding now.
Dude, not even. It's stressful when you're checking your fucking email every time to see if you got new. I don't like that kind of energy within it. To be honest with you. Yeah. Because I'm not working. I'm going in here making new perks. I'm going in here doing all this shit, and I'm not editing. And I need to send Steve some shit, and I got to do this and upload this and do all that. But yeah, it fucking sucks.
Yeah, when they say it's a full-time job, it is, because you really have to disconnect from the filmmaking side of it, and it's all about marketing and money and reaching out. You've got to connect with people. Go ahead.
And every time, I mean, honestly, anytime I've ever had anything with funding in any kind of business in general, but specific to film, it's always a compromise. Mm-hmm. You know, like no matter what it is, if you end up doing it by yourself, you're compromising because you have no money. Or if you're doing it with some kind of an investor, they're going to want to have a say. Yes. If you do it with crowdfunding, you know, there's the whole rigmarole that bless Aaron in his sweet, wonderful heart does, and Chris. They're just marketing basically almost full time for months at a time for what would probably end up being about the same if you did a full-time job, you know, at the end of the day. Yeah. And it's really overvalued when you're talking about that level of money for the amount of work that you do, but it is people providing their energy toward it. You know, when you get a $5, I had a bunch of friends, my nursing buddies, who put in like $100 to have their names in the film, and you know, that kind of thing. I'm like, the $100 is great, but you know, you get that energy of having people wanting to add to your shit. There's nothing better.
It's such a weird thing when you're doing it and you're making connections with people. Like, for example, filmmakers out there. So like when I started mine, you know, we had tapped into someone who is pretty inept at doing these crowdfunders, and we hired him to give us some advice, right? You know, and it's not like he's doing it. He's just telling us what we need to do. Yeah. Follow these steps and do this, and you will get a more successful crowdfunding campaign. The more you do, the more you'll probably fucking get, right? And, you know, after the fact, I've learned that, you know, there's a lot of steps we skipped in the beginning that probably would have got us closer to, you know, maybe 50 grand or 100 grand, you know, we're in the middle of filming a movie and we're doing a crowd. That kind of ruins your amount of time you have to create a buzz around it with an audience. And I'm thinking it would make it more successful, the crowdfunder, because, hey, we're already making it, guys. So this is actually going to happen. I thought that would work. No, it didn't. It didn't. You know why? Because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm winging this, right? So I started to listen to him. And then, you know, when the crowdfund was over, our guy was like, I think next time, if you give it 3 months before you start the crowdfunder, before you start filming the fucking movie, literally start working that crowdfunding campaign, and you'll see a huge difference in your initial day and the entire campaign that you do. And I can't help but agree with him now, because I think that's the difference. Because there's a lot of work. There's a lot of pre-stuff you got to do. You can't just make an Indiegogo or a Kickstarter and then go on Facebook or Instagram and post it and think all these fucking people are going to show up. They don't give a fuck. No. It's not going to happen.
You still have the same 35 people looking at your shit.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to reach out to people. You're cold calling. You're fucking cold calling people and saying, hey, I'm doing this. This is the goal. Love to have you on board. What do you think? And when I did that process, it reminded me of, because I was a real estate agent one time. I had to do the same thing, get started in real estate. I had to call fucking sellers, where their house didn't sell. And I'm like, okay, hey, I saw your house didn't sell. Your agent didn't do the job. Can you want another second opinion, and you're going to get click, 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 hang up. Right.
Yeah.
And then you get one that goes, yeah, I'd love to hear what you got to say, because I need to sell my house. And then you go and meet these people and you talk to them a minute. And then you sell yourself before you sell what your company can do. And next thing you know, you got a listing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't think people are understanding that filmmaking, even though it's this art form and people are, oh, you're making movies, you're okay.
It's like 30% art form.
Right. Yeah. It's not. It's still a fucking business. You still have a product you're selling. You're trying to sell this for a reason, because you want eyeballs on it. And it could be for money, but it could be also because you want to have people experience your story. It could be for all the artists that worked for you and you want to give them good material to have. It could be for the crew because you just love working with them and you want to give them something to be proud of. Whatever the reason fucking is, I think that if you're able to just find that and then look at this as a business, instead of just like, hey, I'm going to make this movie and I'm going to go to this film festival so everybody can suck my dick for a minute. I think...
And nobody's tearing down the idea of
no
one and getting your set back.
No, because you might get, if you're lucky, if you get 50 people in your fucking auditorium at a goddamn film festival, and people are always thinking that somebody's going to be there, see their movie and buy it. It's not going to happen. If you're not at Cannes or fucking South by Southwest, it's not going to fucking happen. It's not. The odds are it's not. And you're not going to get in those film festivals if you're making these movies for just these minuscule amounts of money. I mean, you're dealing with fucking people who've got millions of dollars that are making great shit. You got to be realistic about it, right? So where's your lane and how can you do it? And that's how I look at everything when we're doing it. I really try to look at it that way. I think time is of the essence. Steve wants to take more time making movies, and I'm like, dude, I know, but you've got a family, bro, and I'm not paying you. So we make what we make, and we make something else. And that's all I can do. And the artists are the same way. I come at them the same way. That when we're on set, it's like, I don't want you to be here for 12 fucking hours, on set. I can't do that to you. I'm not paying you. I wouldn't do that to you, even though they would still.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Can we do one more take? No.
I know,
we're done.
Yeah, we're done. It's like 5-6 hours at the most. And it's like, let's go home, guys.
Well, and I think that gets into the whole part about, though, every time somebody does, I tell my kid this all the time. He's 10. And I just tell him, I'm like, if you made a mistake and you fucked something up, it's great. You did something. And I think that's the same kind of thing like with the Kickstarter, with any film. You always have a self-post-mortem at the end of it. You kind of go, what could you improve on from one film to another? And everybody kind of ends up in the same place. Chris, for example, like when you made Evil Lurks, and I'm not going to try to throw you or any of the processes that you had under the bus, but was there anything you really took away from that? You're like, when I make my next film, which ended up being Vic Effects, was there anything that you were like, I'm never doing that shit again, or I'm always going to do that shit?
Well, I don't want to do visual effects anymore.
I understand.
Don't fucking, guess what? Don't with licensing and all that shit. Don't fucking shoot a movie in a sports bar when you fucking trying to take and it's supposed to be in 2005 and you spend most of your time deleting 2019 out of the fucking calendar of the White Sox and Cubs.
Oh no!
But yeah, you blur shit out. You put shit in the TV that's already in the TV. Don't shoot in a sports bar when you're trying to do a period piece where it's supposed to be in 2005.
Good, solid advice.
Budweiser is not, and fucking, Blue Island is not fucking paying for your fucking, Blue Moon is not paying for your fucking movie. Get that shit out of there. Won't do none of that shit. I hate visual effects. Of me doing it. So that is one thing. There's a lot of things I can look at. I've seen that movie so many times and I haven't watched it in almost a year because I've watched it so much. But I learned from it, and my editing style is very for even my edits, I was very and I still do stuff like that in Vic Effects, but it's not as crazy as it. And I started watching it. I mean, if anybody remember the opening sequence, one of the opening sequences of Ellie with William Hurt, I think William Hurt.
Mm-hmm.
He wakes up in the white room and all those overlays start.
John Hurt. Yeah.
John Hurt. Yep.
John Hurt. I'm sorry. But when he started waking up and all those overlays started happening, that was my instinct.
Okay.
With a lot of things I'm doing in Vic Effects. And I watched a lot of French horror movies, which people think I'm fucked in the head with those movies I watch.
Love it. Some of the best horror in the world. Yeah.
Parlez-vous français or did you read?
Did I read? Oh yeah, I read.
Fuck that. How do you? I don't understand how people. Okay,
They're
it's
good movies,
October.
man. When you
It's
get like
October.
that-
My daughter lives with me and her husband, and she watches a horror movie every night. And she keeps pulling up these fucking Korean movies. I'm like, honey, I can't watch a horror movie and read it. I'll miss what's on the fucking screen.
You don't watch enough anime. It's a real problem, Joe.
You gotta get cock at it. You put one eye down to read and the other eye watch the movie.
And I'm getting used
There's
to
only
that.
one cock thing I do, and it ain't eyed.
Oh my God! All right.
It's because I mean, what I just want to throw in on that, Chuck. The
Please.
acting is better when you read it. I'm
Oh.
going to tell you, unless somebody does a fantastic fucking dub, the subtitles are always better. So
Fair
get used to it, bro.
Yeah.
Or
I'm
I'll just stick to what I can watch and not
Right.
read.
My kids, everything my kids watch, they have subtitles on, and they're just like, "That's how you're supposed to watch it." I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me? It's in the way."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And
I'm
now,
watching a show I've seen 100 times, and I'm still reading the fucking screen. And it's like, I know what they're saying.
yeah, but they're like, "I can't really hear it right." And I'm like, "What's wrong with your ears, bro? Like, I can fucking hear it just fine."
Because you're
But-
on your phone and
Yeah,
looking
whatever
at
it is, whatever it is. But I'm actually getting used to it now, and now it's okay. So I probably do better with subtitles now, but I get it. All right, Chris. So what's going on with Vic Effects before we end the show? What's the plan, bro? What are you doing?
Well, I'm in post production right now. You know, I'm working on the visual effects with Steve, and I'm working on the scoring. My goal is to try to do a screening by spring, early spring. So that gives me, I still got months to go when it comes to that.
You can still
You know, I'm
contribute
not
to
getting my
Indiegogo,
hopes up.
right?
There's a couple of distribution companies that I may possibly get a chance to talk to and let them see my shit. I don't know. I don't think about that stuff until it actually happens or whatever. But I'm gonna do a premiere. I'm gonna try to do some screenings. I'm gonna try to do more screenings throughout, you know, the East Coast and the South, and hopefully do something in the UK with this guy Mike, who, you know, he bought a nice perk and he's like, I can get mate, call me mate. Yes, I'm like, we'll see when it comes to that, and then kind of go from there. I mean, and then eventually we'll stream it. But if I talk to companies or whatever and it makes sense, the narrative makes sense, then it's up to them to kind of figure out where I can go. I'm not a biggest fan of festivals, but there's a couple of festivals that I'm kind of seeing. Fantasia, if you guys ever do another like full on horror movie, Fantasia
Fest is cool.
Fantasia is the Cannes Film Festival of horror movie, of genre horror. You get up in there, that'll be dope as fuck. Like I said, the Addams Family, you know, like I said, they make homegrown, like the way they shoot movies. It's insane the way they shoot movies with no money and it looks so fucking good. And they got into Fantasia, and then Shudder fucking just like, hey, I like what y'all do. And they fuck with Shudder, they fuck with Tubi exclusive, not just been on Tubi. I look at a lot of things that they're, like I said, they're an anomaly. What they're doing is not what everybody else is doing and stuff like that when it comes to how they set things up. So I'm looking at different realms, but whatever doesn't work within the atmosphere of everything, in my atmosphere alone, this movie's gonna be out and be something. If I gotta fucking make my own Blu-ray and sell it on my website, I'll do that shit.
Okay. So I'm not gonna let you do this stuff. I'm gonna really try to convince you to do some other things with your film when it's ready. So we're gonna talk. I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I'm gonna haunt you. You know what I mean? I'm gonna haunt.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
I'm gonna haunt you because you've got. We've been doing this longer, and I think that you could save a lot of time by trying some other stuff with the same tools that we're using. And I think the more you keep making movies and keep doing that kind of process, in the long run, I think it'll pay off. I really will. Now, do your festivals, do all that shit. But when it comes to distribution, the shit I'm hearing right now with distribution, like finding
It's hard.
it's hard, yeah, but they're not doing anything else you can't do by yourself.
Whatever.
And next thing you know, you're going to get a sales agent. They're going to take 20%. You got the platform. Yeah, you know, when you can do all this by yourself and get 80% of whatever you make. But it's on you. But you know what? Those distribution companies aren't marketing your fucking movie anyway. They're not doing it. You're still going to have to fucking do it. So you might as well keep it all, you know, as much as you can.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna keep it all because I already signed contracts with other things, not distribution companies, but like, hey, I use your shit and you're not paying, and not charging $200 an hour. Okay, right. my sound guy, we have a contract.
Oh, okay, internally, yeah.
He has debt to pay off.
He's doing $15,000 worth of work.
Okay, I get it.
He's gonna get money back or whatever, so he get a certain percentage of what if I make a certain amount, he gets a certain percentage.
Well, be creative. There's a lot of ways you can make money on your own and do it for a while.
And let me be clear though, if it fits my narrative and what I'm trying to do, like if Lionsgate came up to me and said, "Yo, we'll just do some shit," I mean, who is Lionsgate? Who gives a fuck? They distribution is distribution. You don't know what they're gonna give you within it. So the thing is, if it fits my narrative, and here's the thing about me, as I do this, I make merch. I'm a merch guy. I do a lot of stuff invisible. When it comes to my music and my merch, that's my shit. Figure out how we breaking things down with the movie and getting it out there.
Sure.
I'm gonna be going to cons. I'm gonna be trying to set up tables. I'm gonna be selling my shit. I'm gonna be having conversations with people. I'm gonna be passing out business cards. I'm gonna be out in the street. On top of that, these other guys who are part of the Kissing Castle team, they're in the streets. They're going to the cons. They're having conversations about Vic Effects, and they're doing all that stuff. So when I look at that element of just like my movie is my brand. Like that movie is the brand. Vic Effects, posters, T-shirt, characters. I got a character called Redface. Look out for her. It's a her. Fuck Jason and Michael Myers. Redface will fuck all of them up. So I'm building my IP within Vic Effects. And no, I love y'all movies, but you know what I mean. But that's kind of where I'm at. So those things, that no one's touching that. That's.
I love it. Yeah, that's great.
But you know what? We're gonna talk, and you know, man, we have conversations beyond this stuff, and I just whatever you got in mind, you know, I listen to a handful of people in this business.
Yeah. I'm actually going to take it back and say I might need to talk to you.
I know. We're like, can we get some merch advice?
Yeah, he's on the streets. What the fuck is this motherfucker doing? He ain't messing around.
So it's a company called Acrostar Film, and I help out with Mirror, who's the vice president of that company. She's like, you know, they do low budget stuff. They raise, you know, money for their crowd funds in the range of like, you know, $8,000 to $12,000 and stuff like that. And they put out their own stuff. They're self-sufficient. They got a new movie that's coming out. It's the sequel. It's Return of the Corn Zombies, and it's really fucking good.
Love it.
But it's a good concept. But she's like one of the people I talk to and collaborate with on things. And she's also in Evil Alerts. I mean, not Evil Alerts. She's also in Vic Effects as well. So it's like, we collaborate. Like we're I don't work for Acrostar, she don't work for Kissing Castle, but we feed off each other with different ideas and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, man. I mean, like I give her advice. I mean, and I work in a print shop, so I have access to things, and I say, hey, you know, check this out. If you want to get this and that, I got this hooked up. Boom, boom, booms. You know, this. She could hook me up with a location, and it's like, okay, cool, and boom, boom, boom. And that's how this game works. That's how.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish we were all closer because I think that we can do that type of stuff.
Oh fuck yeah. Well,
and there's nothing I can do technically to help you, Aaron, because you do everything.
Oh, fuck.
There's nothing I can help Steve with stuff because he does all this.
No, but again, I'm not the greatest at it, and I need to.
It's all sharing, though. I mean, it really is. It's all sharing talents. And,
yes, it is.
What you got.
It is. And there's people out there that are way better than a lot of shit I do, and we need to find them and be able to supplement them the way they should be supplemented, right? And that's I was one of those guys that, and Chuck knows I need to learn all this shit if we're gonna make movies, Chuck. So I tried to do it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm gonna get any better at some of these skills. I have no idea. But that's the thing. At least I know we can finish our movies.
Yeah.
We can finish our movies without anybody else. We can still do it, right? Especially in post. That's the key. Yeah. But then you know, it is what it is. And then you run into people like Steve, and then other people we've met, you guys, and you start realizing, and these guys got to convince me to let some of it go. And it's really hard.
First, you gotta let them in.
Yeah.
And then you gotta let them do some of it.
Yeah.
And then you have to stop playing overseer.
No, and that's a beautiful thing, and I don't want to anymore. That's the thing, like that. And Steve's helped me with that. Like, when you give it to Steve, it's Steve's.
Well, I like that, but Steve will be like, "But what do you want? Just do what you want." Yeah. Great, Aaron, but do you want it to be blue or do you want it to be fucking red? I mean, I really need to know what you want.
Yeah, and it's weird, and that's when you got to just kind of let it kind of go, because it's like, well, I don't know. If I say blue, what if Steve had a better idea? You know what I mean? You don't know.
No, but it's really cool. I mean, like working with other people, it's really great what it'll end up teaching you. Like, working with Chris, I've learned some things just, in general that I have not bumped into before, Right. It's like likewise. I mean, God, working with Chuck and Aaron, I've learned a ton. Even though I'd done a couple movies before and dicked around long enough with this stuff, you pick up lots of little things from everybody. It's a small world as big as it is. And it's just so cool that's one of the greatest parts about it. It's just sharing all of that.
I totally agree. And if you're overlooking that and you're being that Putin, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. Oh man. Chris, it's been an absolute pleasure, buddy. Thank you for being on the show, man.
It's good to see you, Chris.
Hey, look, I'm on the season premiere. That's dope as fuck.
Yes, you are. And Steve didn't know you were black, but now he does. So that's exciting. I love that.
Hey, I finally get to see movement of Steve. We
right
from the fall for a bit, but we just we'll type up stuff and give each other heart emojis.
Yeah.
And send selfies.
Well, it is kind of funny if you think about it, Chuck, because Chris Shern is kind of like Aaron Carlson. It doesn't sound black. It doesn't. He had no idea. He had no clue. And then,
so for those of everybody tuning in for the first time, welcome and surprise.
Well, my profile picture got my mixed baby on it, so nobody knows.
That's right.
Well, the big thing is, as we're finishing up, check out Vic Effects. If you Google Vic Effects in Indiegogo, you're going to find it. And Invisible Cartoons, a good band. Check it out.
They're awesome.
Like Disco Carnival 2025.
Yeah, energy. You put out so much energy on stage. I'm so proud of you. It's badass. I love it.
Yeah, my knee's starting to hurt.
No, that's all right. I know. My hamstring hurts too. It's fine. We're gonna get through it.
We're 40 plus. Shit happens.
Yeah.
All right, Chuck.
Well, I don't know if you can tell, but as you can hear the dogs barking as the police are coming in to search for that body finally that has been missing for the last 3 months, I would like to take a quick moment to say thank you, Chris Shern, for hanging out on the episode premiere of season 5 of Around the Reel. So, if you don't know what we're doing, you should know by now because it's been 5 fucking years. And if you're not paying attention, well, you should be, because we make movies. And what do people need movies for? To have an escape from reality, because sometimes reality sucks. Speaking of things that suck, never mind, I'm not going to go there. I promised her I wouldn't. The important thing to remember always is the fact that you're a creative. You can do what you want. Chase your dreams, whatever they might be. Even if you're not a creative, you have a dream. Chase it. Don't stop. Don't give up. Keep going after it. Eventually you'll catch it. I promise. And remember, everyone out there, always think hard, because you're thinking anyway.
We'll see everybody later. Take it easy.
Bye.
Hey, would you like to be a guest on the Around the Reel podcast? If so, just reach out to aroundthereel253@gmail.com. That's aroundthereel253@gmail.com. And remember, keep punching, don't quit, and follow your dream.